There's been a big push to buy Canadian over the past few days, but that can be a bit more complicated than it seems, especially when it comes to our food at the grocery store. So here to give us a few tips is the director from the Ontario Federation of Agriculture, Paul Maurice, and we started our chat with guidelines on how to buy Canadian at the grocery store, even in these colder months.
Even though it's the middle of wintertime, with all the technology that we have, a lot of the produce that we grow during the summertime can be stored and can be used during the wintertime, along also with the greenhouse operations that we have in the province. I can't say that you have access to everything that you want, but if you look around and shop with local farmer markets and whatnot, you would be really surprised of what you can find.
So tell me about the greenhouse industry in Ontario. How much produce is it spitting out? Like, is it enough to sustain the Ontario population?
When you look at what is being produced right now, I would have to say that a good proportion of what we need meets our needs. And I'm really hoping that with what is actually happening right now in the last few days, that it's going to be a wake-up call for us, and maybe we should be looking at establishing more further processing back in the province, and maybe looking at expanding our greenhouse operations.
So when you walk into a grocery store, how do you distinguish if something is Canadian?
Well, hopefully, with the help of the store owners and whatnot, you will see probably a Canadian flag, but you also have to watch out because there are two different identifications. There is made in Canada, and then there's a product of Canada. And when it's identified as product of Canada, it is only the requirement there would be that only 51% of the ingredients would be Canadian. So you're technically not buying a Canadian, you might not be buying a Canadian product. If it is a made in or product of Canada, made in Canada, you are assured that it is truly Canadian.
Okay, so let's get into meats. How do we ensure that what we're consuming, are Canadian beef, poultry, pork, all of that?
So basically, again, when you're shopping for your meat products, it's always nice to be able to shop locally and to local laboratory or local butchers. First of all, to be able to get the quality and to be able to support your local community. But always ask where the meat is actually coming from, just to make sure that you are buying Canadian product.
When it comes to dairy, we see the milk commercials on television all the time. And, when you see that symbol, like the Dairy Farmers of Canada symbol, that's Canadian, right? Like, we're safe to make this purchase and we are supporting people that are right around us.
Definitely. When it comes to dairy supplies, always look for the blue cow, and that can assure you that the product is from Canada and supporting our local and Canadian dairy farmers.
All right, Paul, that's pretty great. Any other tips to give, all consumers out there?
At the end of the day, what is really important here is that, especially with what is happening and what has happened in the last few days, it's really important right now to buy Canadian, support local farmers, support local markets, because by doing that, we are supporting our communities. And with all of the misconceptions and the threats right now, there's nothing more important to be able to be unified in supporting our own communities.